Keeper of the Lost Cities, Neverseen, Chapter 10. Sophie had to let the sentence slosh around in her mind before the words could soak in. Once they did, something still felt wrong. "You mean memories, right?" she asked. "You stole 2. "We are only offering 1. The memory I know you desire most." "The boy who disappeared?" Sophie asked, and the collective nodded. Sophie turned to her friends, knowing she wouldn't get a better offer. When she had their approval, she told the collective, "Okay." "All right then," Mr. Forkel said, reaching for her temples. Sophie flinched back. "Wait, you're doing it now? Since when is anything with you guys ever this easy?" She glanced at her right hand, where a small star-shaped scar commemorated the time Mr. Forkel reset her abilities. He'd had to give her an entire ounce of limbium and then inject her with a modified human remedy to stop the allergic reaction from killing her. Mr. Forkel cleared his throat. "Returning the memories is a simple process, though you should prepare yourself for the fact that this memory was taken to spare you additional worry. I still want it back, just like the other memory." She turned to the collective, trying to find their eyes amid their crazy disguises. "If you won't return it now, I think I deserve a guarantee that you'll give it back to me eventually." "You deserve that and more," Granite said. "So we can agree to your terms, as long as you understand that we will choose when to return the other memory." Sophie agreed, and Mr. Forkel turned to Fitz. "I'd like to have you assist." "Why him?" Dex asked. "If you need another telepath, why not use Granite?" "Because Miss Foster trusts Mr. Vacker," Mr. Forkel said, "and the two of them have an extremely unique connection. In fact, we're hoping to train them as cognates." "Really?" Fitz asked, his eyes sparkling. "What's a cognate?" Sophie asked. "It's an incredibly rare telepathic relationship," Granite added. "One very few telepaths are able to achieve. I know I've never found anyone I could partner with." "Neither have I," Mr. Forkel agreed. "Cognates combine their power through a deep personal connection. It's too early to know if you're truly compatible, but it's worth exploring, especially given the potential we've witnessed. On your own, Miss Foster, you came far closer to reading an ogre's mind than any have before. Perhaps, with the combined strength of the cognate, you would find true success. Though I'm definitely not suggesting you attempt to probe an ogre's mind again. I'm simply illustrating your potential. Your telepathy has proven far superior to even my most optimistic calculations. If you and Mr. Vacker achieve cognatum, it would reach another level entirely." "You want to try it, right?" Fitz asked, as Sophie resisted, tugging on her eyelashes. "Of course I do." "Ha! Nice try, Foster," Keith said. "I can feel your dread all the way from over here." "It's not dread," she argued. "It's just a lot of pressure. I don't want to let anyone down." "You could never let me down." Fitz said something else too, but it was drowned out by the plethora of gagging noises coming from Dex and Keith. "Don't cognates have to share all their secrets with each other?" Biana asked. Mr. Forkel nodded. "It's how they reach the necessary level of trust." Keith smirked. "Okay, now I feel the dread." "A perfectly normal reaction," Granite told him. "Sophie has been alone with her secrets for a very long time. Sharing them so openly is a whole new concept. One, I might add, that I myself have never been comfortable with." "Yeah," Sophie agreed. "Plus, this could be super dangerous." "Nope, we're not doing that. I'm trying to protect you," speech again, Fitz interrupted. "You're not allowed to worry about me anymore. And I don't want to have to worry about you. That's why I want to do this. A cognate is a telepath's ultimate backup. I promise I won't be mad if it doesn't work out, but isn't it worth trying?" "You looked so adorably excited." Sophie could feel her cheeks blushing. "Okay," she whispered. "Wonderful! So come over here, Mr. Vacker," Mr. Forkel ordered. "I want your minds to be connected as I return Miss Foster's memory." Sophie's mouth went desert dry as Fitz and Mr. Forkel reached for her temples. "Try to let your mind relax, Miss Foster," Mr. Forkel told her. "And let me know once you clear the point of trust, Mr. Vacker." The Black Swan had designed Sophie's mind with a hidden entry point, where her subconscious could pull someone past her mental blocking. Apparently, they had to transmit some sort of password to convince her mind she could trust them. She had no idea what word Fitz used, but he grinned and said, "I'm in." "Very good," Mr. Forkel told him. "Her mind is trusting you much faster." "Of course it is," Dex grumbled. "I'm going to return your memory," Mr. Forkel said, "and it can be a bit disorienting. So perhaps you should hold on to someone's hand, Miss Foster." Dex and Keith both offered, but Bianna wrapped an arm around Sophie's waist, and Sophie leaned against her. "On 3, Mr. Forkel added. Sophie braced for pain, but when he got to 3, all she felt was a whisper of cold. "Is that it?" she asked. "I don't see the memory." "It takes a moment to register in your consciousness. You should feel it now." Sophie swayed as the memory hit, fighting to get her bearings. It felt like her mind had been dropped in the middle of a movie running on fast forward. "That's me," she realized, as the scene slowed to a normal pace, and she watched her 5-year-old self reading on the steps in front of her small, square home. "What book is that?" Fitz transmitted. "It looks like an encyclopedia. I read the whole thing from A to Z by the time I was 6. She wasn't supposed to be reading that day. Her mom had ordered her to go outside to play with Bethany Lopez, the first grader who lived across the street. But Bethany had called her Dorktionary and told her to go spell something. Sophie had just beaten a 5th grader in her school's spelling bee. She didn't understand why everyone was making such a big deal about it. Why did it matter that she was only in kindergarten? Why was her principal talking to her parents about having her skip grades? That was the real reason her parents had sent her outside. They'd caught her listening to their whispered conversation. She'd still heard 3 words, though. "She's not normal." Sophie could feel her eyes burn as her emotions synced with the memory. Her 5-year-old self couldn't understand why it was so hard to fit in like her parents wanted. She'd been thinking about running away when she'd felt the prickly sense of someone watching her. She could see Fitz lean closer as they relived the moment she looked up and spotted a strange boy in a blue bramble jersey. He was peeking at her from behind her yard's sycamore tree. Or she assumed he was. His head was turned her way, but his face was a blur. Sophie fought to focus the memory, but the boy remained fuzzy, even as he raised a crystal up to the sunlight and disappeared. Now, Sophie knew that he'd light-leaped, but at the time, she'd been terrified she'd seen a ghost. She grabbed her book and raced for the safety of her house, but her toe caught on the concrete stairs, and the last thing she remembered was the ground racing towards her and a sharp pain in her head. From there, the memory skipped to the part Sophie already knew. Waking up in the hospital, hearing thoughts for the first time, and crying because she couldn't understand what was happening. "Whoa," Fitz transmitted. "The voices feel like knives." "I know," Sophie thought, fighting to shut down the memory. Her mind seemed determined to relive every second. "I knew it had to be scary, manifesting so young," Fitz said, "but I never realized it was like that." Fitz's hands were shaking now, sharing 5-year-old Sophie's terror as she'd screamed and thrashed, begging someone to make the voices stop. The doctors hovered over her, sticking her with needles, checking equipment. "How long was it like this before you figured out?" Fitz asked. "The doctors gave her another sedation," Mr. Forkel told them, "and while she was out, I was able to plant the truth in her mind so she'd understand. I'd tried to do that before, but hadn't been able to reach her while she was manifesting the ability." That makes sense, Sophie thought. "I remember somehow knowing that I was hearing thoughts. Also that I couldn't ever tell anyone. I'd never felt so alone." "I'm sorry," Mr. Forkel said. Are you guys okay?" Keith asked. "Foster's emotions are spiking all over the place, and Fitz feels weird." "I'm fine," Sophie promised, shaking her head to clear it. She turned to Mr. Forkel. "But I still can't see the boy's face, or how you triggered my telepathy." "You were unconscious for the telepathy triggering, and the boy's face is blurry because he was wearing an Adler. It's a gadget that makes it impossible for your eyes to focus on the wearer's face. They were very popular during the Human Assistance Program, since humans forget anyone they cannot recognize." "Why would the boy have one?" Sophie asked. "And who was he? Why was he there?" "Those are questions I've been trying to answer for the last 8 years. Obviously he's with the Neverseen, but I have no idea how he found you, or why he didn't seem to realize what you truly were. I'm glad he didn't, because I wasn't watching you as closely back then. I hadn't even known you were outside until I heard the neighbor girl shouting that you'd fallen. I ran out to check and you were bleeding and unconscious. When I probed your recent memories, I realized you'd seen an elf, and I was tempted to grab you and flee, but there were too many people watching. Plus, the boy had disappeared, and I hoped that meant he'd crossed you off whatever list he was working from. Still, I decided to move up your timeline just in case. I called 911 and triggered your telepathy, knowing the head injury would be an excuse to help your mind accept the new ability. I also altered your memory to be sure you'd forget the boy. And then I never let you out of my sight again. If you erased the memory that quickly, Keith asked, how did Foster write about the boy in her journal? I merely hid the memory at first. I was trying to avoid interfering any more than I had to, but the memory kept resurfacing. Sophie's mind had latched on to the moment to try to understand it. When I caught her writing in her journal, I knew I had to be drastic. That night, I watched the moment completely and tore the pages out of her journal. So you did sneak into my room while I slept? Sophie asked, feeling especially squirmy when he nodded. My job was far from easy, Miss Foster. I had to ready your abilities, keep you safe, and still have you believe you were a regular human girl. You failed pretty epically at the last one, Sophie mumbled. If you'd wanted me to feel normal, maybe you shouldn't have made me read minds. Or at least taught me how to block the thoughts I didn't want to hear. Believe me, I tried. Certain skills need conscious training, and I couldn't reveal the truth to you yet. So, every night I searched your memories and helped your mind set aside anything too upsetting. I also tried to help your headaches. Don't you remember how I was always asking about them? I even gave your mother remedies to try, but I doubt she gave them to you. She wasn't a fan of medicine. She made it clear at her first fertility appointment that she was only there as a last resort. It was one of many reasons I selected her. So many human remedies do more harm than good, and I had to ensure you wouldn't be subjected to them constantly. The few times you went to the doctor, I had to monitor what they gave you and then find ways to undo the damage. I also had to change your records to ensure you looked human on paper. And your hospital stays were even worse. So many files to erase and treatments to adjust. You have no idea the nightmare that was. I might, if you give me back the other memory, Sophie reminded him. Nice try. But it's not like this memory even taught me anything, Sophie argued. I still don't know who the boy was. Perhaps that will convince you that we are not withholding crucial secrets, Granite said. Or that they picked that memory to return because they knew it was a bust. And you really have no theories for who the boy could be? Sophie pressed. Mr. Forkel heaved a heavy sigh. In the interests of avoiding further questioning, I will tell you that we've spent many years investigating the children at Foxfire, and we've ruled out every single boy. Could you have missed someone? Fiona asked. Our methods were very thorough. I'm convinced he was not there. And if I'm right, there's only one other place he could have been. Fitz figured it out before Sophie did. Exilium. And before you start plotting ways to find the campus, Mr. Forkel told her, keep in mind that the boy you saw, that was 8 years ago. He has long since aged out of their curriculum. So, where do Exilium kids go when they graduate? Fitz asked. There is no single place, Granite said. Some earn jobs in the lost cities, others remain banished. Either way, the boy is just as untraceable as the rest of the Neverseen. There has to be a way to find him, Sophie said. Maybe the teachers saw something suspicious. Or the Exilium administration kept records. Or, I can assure you, Miss Foster, we will find no records saying Boy X is a member of the Neverseen. Mr. Forkel interrupted. And the coaches would be of no help. Exilium is designed for anonymity. Those who attend do not use their names. They must also wear masks. Sounds like the perfect place for the Neverseen to hide, Sophie pointed out. They could have members right there right now. I doubt it, Blur said. Why not? Dex asked. Well, don't take this the wrong way, Blur said. But Exilium is for kids. What he means, Mr. Forkle jumped in as they all groaned, is that the Neverseen haven't demonstrated a pattern of relying on children. They did once, Fitz argued. Shouldn't we at least look into it? It's not worth the risk, Mr. Forkle insisted. Finding Exilium would require breaking into an incredibly secure database. I can do that. Easy, Dex said. Don't get overconfident, Mr. Disney, Mr. Forkle told him, and do not attempt it. Whatever modicum of information could be gleaned by searching the Exilium files does not match the havoc that would occur if you were caught. Plus, we have far more important assignments for all of you to work on, Granite added. He glanced at the rest of the collective, waiting for them to nod before saying, It's time to rescue Prentice.